Hey everyone, this is Sean. Just wanted to take you through a sound design that I was doing today, just kind of exploring the Radium sampler and specifically some plugins within the Radium sampler. So Radium's really cool in that you can load up a whole bunch of audio onto these different slots and have them play back sequentially, one shot, loop them, mess around with some of the effects that are built in here, or even load up your own plugins on these plugin slots. So I've actually done that here on the first slot. There's no audio on it, and I've just got the Serum VSTI loaded. And so I'll play you this sound and then I'll kind of take you through some of the processing that I've done to it. So as you can hear, there's quite a bit going on. It's kind of this magic, impact, morphy kind of sound. I think it sounds pretty cool. So yeah, you've got Serum loaded here on one of the plugin slots, and that's just taking raw input straight from my Rolly light pad block here as I kind of change notes, and you can see that as I press these keys, it'll correspond to the notes that I'm hitting on the light pad. So that's all really fun. I've taken some source and imported that into Serum as its own wavetable and messed around with that, edited that a bit, crossfaded some of the frames here, and also used this noise sampler, which is really, really cool. It's just a very simplistic sampler, and using that and modulating a whole bunch of different parameters here, using some LFOs in Serum, some envelopes, some of the chaos generators, which is fun, and then obviously using a lot of the built-in effects in Serum, which are super powerful and sound really fantastic. So just this layer on its own, I'll solo that for you. You can see what's going on. So a lot of it's driven by this envelope here that I've got, and I can mess around with that and get a whole bunch of either impacts or kind of whooshes. As you can see, this envelope's got a pretty quick attack and then quickly trailing off. But one of the other things that I like about using Serum and Radium specifically is you can modulate a whole bunch of other parameters that might be a little convoluted to do in a conventional DAW. So I'll close this here, and you can see with this sound, I've got two different source modulators going here from timeline A and timeline B. So timeline A here, it's got this kind of shape, kind of quickly ramps down and then back up and trails off. Pretty similar to the way that the envelope in Serum was working. And what that's modulating is right here. You can select a whole bunch of different parameters, either the built-in effects in Radium or even some of the knobs in the plugins that you load up. But I've got it just doing some simple stuff here, but I think adds to the overall design. So what I've got going here is the stereo field built-in Radium plugin, and that's just modifying the width over time. So we start really wide, we narrow down, and then we kind of go back up and trail off. You can see that happening here on the stereo plugin. Watch this width knob here as I play just this Radium layer. So get a whole bunch of stereo field movement. Then I'm doing the same kind of thing with timeline B here, except doing that on the low pass. So as we kind of morph through this sound, we're low passing aggressively and then kind of coming back up and trailing off once again, and you can see that here on this knob. Just add some really extra cool movement over time that once you've got kind of all your Serum effects used, you kind of run out of other possibilities without loading up some more plugins. So I've got that one going there. Then on the second layer, we've got just some impacts that I've taken from one of the boom libraries and processed those through a whole bunch of stuff, OTT and Filter Freak and a little bit of EQing and Verb. And so those sound like this. And then on the next layer, I've got just a simple kick. This is just a standard kind of EDM kick that I've, again, got Filter Freak, a little bit of Echo Boy that's actually used as more of a reverb here in this case, but some OTT and some saturation, and that layer sounds like this. I really like what Filter Freak's doing there. It's just kind of adding this laser zappy, quick attack, high frequency element that sounds really good when it's in context with this kind of rich Serum layer. And then on this bottom layer, I've just got a really simple printed LFE sweep, and that sounds like this. So all of the kind of transient layers, if you will, together, those all sound like this. And what I like about this Radium sampler is you can load up a long source file and define different regions as kind of Radium sample points. And each time that you hit a new key, it'll randomly select one of those regions, and you can see that going here. So it's selecting, the 4th and the 2nd and the 6th, and that's super useful for game audio specifically when you've got to make a lot of variations in your source material. And again, I've got some timelines going here just to kind of clean things up a bit. Timeline A is just starting at a full kind of high-passed frequency, so you get the full sound, and then very quickly kind of ramping off some of that low end to make room for some of the other elements. And you can see right here it ends up at somewhere around 250. And then timeline B is just doing a similar kind of thing with the master volume. So as we kind of trail off those lower frequencies, we're increasing the master volume on this slot over here, just to kind of bring out those Morphe elements, which are super fun. It doesn't look like I've got any modulation on 3 or 4, just using some of those built-in effects. And then, yeah, so here's that whole sound again, and then I've also got it running through a DSP processing rack. It's got some OTT on it, just, again, bringing up some of the loudness and detail that's kind of lost. Kind of lost otherwise, kind of lost without it. I've got some further saturation going on. I've really liked this Black Box HG2. It's been really, really nice for bringing out some of those tonal elements, and this low, flat, high saturation circuit here adds some really nice detail and thickness and weight to the sound. Then I've got some further plugins here, the next one being M Ratio MB. This is really cool. I've actually found this by way of Alex Barnhart, so shout out Alex. This one's really fun in that you can separate the noise and the tonal elements on this one. So what I really like about this this noise ratio here is that it'll end up taking a lot of that kind of just white noise element out, depending on how much of the ratio you've decided to leave in. And then you've got resolution for some kind of gargly, artifacty, kind of growly bits that you can bring up or down, and you can filter out with the slope and crossover here. So here it is without. So there's a lot of sparkly stuff, and that's cool as a variation on its own. But once you put it back in, and I'll drag this ratio up and down, you can kind of see what I'm talking about and what it does, and kind of clarifying and making it a bit more artifacty. So we'll drag this up here. So this plugin is free and just crazy useful for stuff like this, getting all those kind of tonal, really nice resonant bits to shine and poke through. And then I've just got some recenter here. All of that's doing is mono filtering below 80 hertz. And then I've got some Soothe, which is another great plugin for kind of either accentuating or de-emphasizing some resonances that might be a little harsh. I've got this just kind of rolling off a few of the higher frequencies that tend to poke through pretty nasty. You can hear that here. So that element is cool on its own too, if you wanted to just kind of print that with this delta feature here that shows you what you're removing. And then I've just got a limiter at the end. So yeah, I'll play this sound for you one more time. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. This was a a super fun little exploration I did in about an hour, just kind of on New Year's Eve here. So again, hope you enjoyed and found something useful, and feel free to hit me up if you've got any questions or how you're using similar software. So yeah, take care and Happy New Year's.